that somebody will come along and say, there's money in this, let's support Meghan and her as ever brand.
And she targeted, there's no doubt, she targeted Harry and found someone who was a childhood friend of his who could introduce.
Tom Bower just said the word nobody in the media has dared to say out loud: groomed. He didn't whisper it, he didn't hint at it, he said it directly, on the record, and with the kind of confidence that only comes from someone who spent years digging through receipts. According to Britain's most feared investigative biographer, Meghan Markle didn't just marry Prince Harry. She allegedly shaped him, molded him, and systematically dismantled every connection he had to his former life. And the evidence he's presenting is sending shockwaves through royal circles and beyond. If you think you know the Sussex story, think again. Because what Tom Bower is revealing changes everything. Subscribe, hit that bell, and like this video, because this is the one everyone's going to be talking about.
To stay. Her guest list to her wedding showed her real ambition was to be a star.
Let's start with what Tom Bower actually said. In recent interviews promoting his explosive follow-up research on the Sussexes, Bower made a statement that stopped royal watchers in their tracks. Speaking about Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, and the events that led to it, Bower declared, "Meghan dictated this agenda. She groomed him." Groomed. That's not a word journalists throw around casually. It implies manipulation, control, and a systematic process of influence that goes far beyond a normal relationship dynamic.
Well, you know, Piers, you're the first person to say how limited Prince Harry is, unfortunately, and how his wife trades off her husband's fame and fortune, or not so great fortune now. I mean, this is the problem, but we're still interested because, after all, he's a great character in our modern day.
And Bower isn't backing down from it. But here's the thing. Bower isn't just making accusations based on feelings or speculation. He's pointing to a pattern of behavior documented across years, witnessed by dozens of people, and now supported by evidence that's becoming impossible to ignore. So what exactly is he talking about? Let's break it down piece by piece. The first major claim centers on Harry's memoir itself. Spare was marketed as Harry's raw, unfiltered truth, his story, his words, his perspective. But according to Bower and sources close to the book's creation, that narrative doesn't quite match reality. Sources familiar with the writing process allege that Meghan wasn't just a supportive spouse during the creation of Spare. She was reportedly present at virtually every writing session with ghostwriter J.R. Moehringer. Not occasionally, not for moral support, allegedly for editorial control. According to these accounts, Meghan sat in on meetings, reviewed drafts, and most critically, exercised veto power over any content that portrayed her in a negative light or contradicted the narrative she wanted told. One publishing insider allegedly described it as collaborative in name only, and added that nothing went in that book that Meghan didn't approve first. Think about that for a second. A memoir is supposed to be the most personal form of storytelling. It's your truth, your memories, your perspective. But if these accounts are accurate, Harry's truth was allegedly filtered through someone else's editorial vision before it ever reached the page. And this is where Bower's grooming claim starts to make more sense. Because according to his research, this pattern didn't start with the book. It started much earlier. Sources who knew Harry before his relationship with Meghan describe a fundamentally different person. Yes, he had his struggles. Yes, he had complicated feelings about royal life. But he also had deep friendships, strong family bonds despite the tensions, and an identity that was distinctly his own. Former friends and associates paint a picture of gradual isolation that began almost immediately after the relationship became serious. Old friendships started fading. Communication with family members became increasingly filtered, and Harry's public statements began to shift in tone and content in ways that surprised people who'd known him for years. One longtime friend, speaking anonymously, allegedly told researchers, "It wasn't sudden. It was like watching someone slowly disappear. First the calls stopped, then the visits, then suddenly he's saying things publicly that don't even sound like him." That observation leads directly into Bauer's second major point of evidence, the Oprah interview. March 2021. The interview that shook the monarchy to its foundations. Harry and Meghan sat down with Oprah Winfrey and made explosive claims about racism in the royal family, lack of support for Meghan's mental health struggles, and an institution that allegedly failed to protect them. The world watched, the world reacted, and the damage to the royal family's reputation was immediate and severe. But according to Bauer and sources connected to the interview's preparation, what viewers saw wasn't a spontaneous conversation between old friends. It was, allegedly, a carefully choreographed performance that had been planned, rehearsed, and refined over weeks. Sources claim that Meghan led the preparation process, working with PR consultants to identify the most impactful talking points and the most emotionally resonant delivery methods. Harry, according to these accounts, was brought into the preparation, but primarily in a supporting role, learning his marks and his cues rather than driving the strategy. One particularly striking claim involves the emotional moments that captivated viewers. According to sources, these weren't entirely spontaneous. Certain beats, certain pauses, certain moments of visible distress were allegedly practiced beforehand to ensure maximum impact. If this sounds too calculated to be true, consider what Bauer himself said about his findings. Everything with Meghan is strategic. Nothing is accidental. Every public moment is planned to achieve a specific result. And the results of that Oprah interview were significant. Public sympathy shifted dramatically toward the Sussexes, at least initially. The royal family was left scrambling to respond. And Harry's relationship with his brother William reached a breaking point that still hasn't been repaired. But here's where the story takes an even darker turn. According to sources close to Harry's inner circle, the aftermath of the Oprah interview is when cracks started appearing in his confidence about the choices he'd made. Not publicly, of course, but privately, among the few old friends he still occasionally spoke with, Harry allegedly began expressing doubts. One source described a conversation that took place approximately 6 months after the interview aired. According to this account, Harry said something that shocked the person he was speaking to. "Sometimes, I don't even recognize myself anymore. I don't know how we got here." Those words, if accurate, suggest someone grappling with a profound identity crisis. Someone who looked back at the path they'd traveled and couldn't quite remember choosing to walk it. And that brings us to perhaps the most disturbing allegation in Bauer's research: the systematic control of Harry's daily life. Former staff members have allegedly provided accounts of a household dynamic that went far beyond normal spousal involvement. According to these sources, Meghan didn't just participate in decision-making, she allegedly dominated it entirely. Multiple former employees claim that Harry's schedule, communications, and even personal relationships were managed through Meghan or with her explicit approval. Phone calls were allegedly monitored. Emails were reportedly reviewed. Visits from old friends were said to require advance permission that was often denied. One former staffer described the dynamic in stark terms. "He wasn't a partner in that house. He was a passenger. Every decision, every statement, every public appearance was orchestrated. And he just went along with it." If these accounts are accurate, they paint a picture of something more troubling than simple marital dominance. They suggest a systematic dismantling of Harry's autonomy that fits uncomfortably well with Bauer's use of the word grooming. But let's be clear about something. Bauer isn't claiming that Harry is blameless or that he bears no responsibility for his choices. What he's suggesting is more nuanced than that. He's arguing that Harry was psychologically vulnerable when he met Meghan, still processing trauma from his mother's death and his complicated relationship with royal life, and that Meghan allegedly recognized and exploited that vulnerability. Harry was looking for someone to save him, Bauer said in one interview. Meghan presented herself as that savior. But saviors don't usually isolate you from everyone else in your life. That isolation is perhaps the most documented aspect of the entire situation. Because the evidence isn't just from anonymous sources or speculation. It's visible in the complete transformation of Harry's relationship network over the past 6 years. Before Meghan, Harry had a wide circle of friends from Eton, from the military, from various charitable endeavors. He had complicated but functional relationships with his father, his brother, and extended family members. He had roots in multiple communities across the UK. Today, according to multiple reports, almost all of those connections have been severed or severely damaged. Old friends say they haven't heard from him in years. Family relationships range from strained to non-existent. The support network that once surrounded him has been replaced by Meghan's network, Meghan's friends, Meghan's professional contacts. That's not evidence of grooming by itself. Relationships change, people grow apart. But the speed and completeness of the transformation is what raises red flags for observers like Bauer. When you see someone cut off from everyone who knew them before, everyone who might offer an outside perspective, everyone who might say, "This doesn't seem right," that's a warning sign, Bauer explained. That's the classic pattern of coercive control. Isolate, influence, dominate. And then there's the Earl Spencer revelation. In Bauer's research, one detail emerged that crystallized the identity transformation Harry has allegedly undergone. According to sources, Harry approached Earl Spencer, Princess Diana's brother, and asked for permission to legally change his family name from Mountbatten Windsor to Spencer. Let that sink in. The son of King Charles, sixth in line to the throne, allegedly wanted to completely abandon his father's family name in favor of his mother's maiden name. Why? According to sources, because Meghan didn't like Mountbatten Windsor. She reportedly found it too connected to the institution she wanted distance from, too British, too royal. Earl Spencer allegedly advised against it, saying simply, "I don't advise it." But the fact that Harry even made the request speaks volumes about where his head was at. Changing your family name isn't a casual decision. It's a fundamental alteration of identity, a public statement about who you are and where you belong. And according to these accounts, Harry was willing to make that change because Meghan wanted it. That's the kind of influence Bauer is talking about when he uses the word groomed. Now, to be fair, Meghan's supporters would argue that all of this has an alternative explanation. They'd say that Harry chose to distance himself from toxic family dynamics, that he chose to prioritize his wife and children over an institution that failed him, that his transformation reflects growth, not manipulation. And those arguments aren't without merit. Relationships do change people, sometimes for the better. But here's what Bauer and others point to as the critical distinction. When someone changes because of genuine personal growth, they typically become more of themselves, not less. They gain confidence, clarity, purpose. They become more autonomous, not more dependent. What observers describe in Harry's case is the opposite. A man who seems less certain of himself than ever, who speaks in talking points rather than authentic emotion, who looks, according to body language experts and longtime royal watchers, increasingly uncomfortable in his own skin. That's not growth. That's something else entirely. And the palace, after years of diplomatic silence, seems to be reaching the same conclusion. According to sources close to Prince William, the heir to the throne has privately described his brother as lost and unrecognizable. He allegedly told close confidants that he's given up hope of reaching Harry directly because she controls everything he sees and hears. That assessment, if accurate, suggests that the royal family has essentially concluded what Bauer is arguing publicly, that Harry isn't making free choices anymore, that he's operating under someone else's influence, and that there may be no path back to the person he used to be. The question that hangs over all of this is simple but devastating. Can Harry wake up? Bauer doesn't seem optimistic. In his assessment, the psychological patterns that have been established over 7 years of marriage are deeply entrenched. Harry has rebuilt his entire identity around his relationship with Meghan. To question that relationship would mean questioning everything: His choices, his sacrifices, his public statements, his broken family bonds. The hardest prison to escape is the one you've convinced yourself is freedom, Bauer observed. Harry thinks he's finally free. He doesn't see the walls. Whether you agree with Bauer's framing or not, the evidence he presents demands serious consideration. 80+ sources, years of research, documented patterns of behavior, named witnesses willing to go on record. This isn't tabloid speculation. This is investigative journalism from someone with a track record of exposing difficult truths about powerful people. And Meghan's response to all of it? According to sources, she's reportedly furious. Legal threats have allegedly been issued. PR strategies are reportedly being deployed. The usual playbook of deny, deflect, and discredit is allegedly in full effect. But here's the problem with that approach. Bauer's claims aren't going away. His research has been published, his sources have spoken, and every attempt to silence the narrative only seems to amplify it further. The more Meghan fights, the more people wonder what she's fighting to hide. And that leaves Harry in an impossible position. Defend his wife and confirm the narrative that he's under her control, distance himself from her and admit that everything he said and done for years was a mistake. Or stay silent and let the speculation continue to grow. There's no good option. There's no clean exit. There's only the reality of a situation that has spiraled far beyond anyone's control. Tom Bauer said the word nobody else would say: groomed. And whether you believe him or not, the evidence he's assembled isn't going away anytime soon. So what do you think? Is Bauer right about what happened to Harry? Can he ever break free from the situation he's in? Or is this simply what happens when love becomes control? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video because this story is only beginning. And trust me, you're going to want to see what comes next.